Thank you very much. EFC is actually a relatively young institution. We were incorporated in Uganda in the year 2012 by DID. DID is a French-Canadian financial services group. It's actually the sixth largest bank in Canada that came to Uganda and partnered with Uganda Gatsby Trust. Uganda Gatsby Trust is an offshoot out of Makerere University's Faculty of Technology. So it was a good marriage that came together to create a microfinance institution in Uganda. In January 2013, we were joined by Oxfam Novib, another large charity, by Afrikinvest Financial Sector Limited, and in November of 2013 applied and received the MDI license from the Bank of Uganda. We are a niche player serving exclusively small and medium enterprises in Uganda. We have grown over the years by leaps and bounds, and indeed between 2018 and 2020, we were among the fastest growing supervised financial institutions in Uganda. So we know that SMEs world over are the true engines of growth of any economy, and Uganda is no different. And because we have set out to become that bank that exclusively services SMEs, we are on a growth journey, the same growth trajectory as SMEs. SMEs grow quite fast in a very enabling environment, and like I said before, growth is in our DNA. We are looking to, we have in some years more than doubled our balance sheet year on year, so meaning we've doubled the business, and we think that we can continue on that trajectory, and by 2025 we will be the largest SME bank in Uganda, the bank that is exclusively servicing SMEs. So SMEs in Uganda have been quite vibrant. Uganda actually, in one of the World Bank studies, I think in the early 2013s, was named as one of the most entrepreneurial countries. However, SMEs over the last 2 years, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, took a beating. But surprisingly, we're a very resilient country. We're driven by very resilient people. So we are seeing that in 2022, a lot of the SMEs are indeed making a comeback. And we still think that going into the near future and in the long-term future, SMEs will continue on a growth path that we've not seen even before. And there are a few other economic winds that are carrying this ship, so to say. There is the discovery of the oil in Western Uganda. It's going to create a lot of knock-on effects for the entrepreneur in Uganda. There will be a couple of pickings. Yes, indeed, we are an agricultural economy, but there's a lot of growth that is coming through, especially from agricultural value addition, packaging, transport, marketing, name it. But also, because we start so many SMEs in this country every day, I think the last study from the Private Sector Foundation put the number of SMEs, urban SMEs in the country to just over 1 million. That's a lot of SMEs, and their definition of the SMEs is anyone that employs at least 5 people up to they're about 100. So there's significant growth coming through in the SME industry. It is going to indeed continue to be the driver of growth, economic performance in this country, and the future is very, very bright for the SMEs. We are indeed a low savings level country, but we are making strides towards getting there. And I think if we compared Uganda to other economies that we admire, for example, our savings level is about 19% of GDP. The true economies that have grown substantially tend to keep a level of just over 48%. So you think about the Arab Emirates, for example, is touching 50%. Norway, an economy that we deeply admire and would like to emulate given how they've managed their oil business and all, averages at about 48%. So we're still running a quite low savings level, but we're making giant strides towards getting there. The other thing is about monetizing how we save, because quite often, yes, we are a developing country and the poverty levels are still a little heightened. But the poor actually do save, only that sometimes they do not save in monetary terms. Maybe you buy a cow or something, and that's the savings. The challenge with that is that it is tough to monetize that kind of saving. If let's say the cow is worth 500,000 shillings, and you have a challenge to take care of worth 100,000, you're not going to cut off the thigh. You must then liquidate the full saving instrument. So the idea is to encourage Ugandans, SMEs especially, to monetize their savings, to own a bank account, and make financial transactions a lot more fluid. Yes, so we will get there as the economy develops, as financial opportunities come through the pipelines. We should see a higher savings level. Thank you. The pandemic was especially most devastating to SMEs because Uganda's SME is quite unique. We have in banking speak what we call key man risk, owner managed, meaning the owner is also the manager, is the auditor, is the marketeer, etc. If they cannot access their business for whatever reason, or if they have a challenge, then the business struggles just like them. And over the last 2 years of the pandemic, we've seen a lot of SMEs struggle. But there have been quite a number of lessons to learn. One, those that were found better prepared were able to ride the tide a lot better than the other. So in the SME market, we have noticed that scale matters. The larger SMEs survived a lot better than the smaller ones. Planning matters. Those that had, especially around saving and putting something aside, those that could have a fallback position were able to ride through the storm. Digitization mattered very, very much. Consider the fact that especially during the lockdowns, that people could not access their businesses, etc. Customers couldn't access the shops. So online shopping and delivery took off, and those that have learned the lessons have indeed gone on to digitize their businesses. So we've learned a couple of lessons, and if we were to have a repeat of this, I think we will be better prepared if we apply the lessons that we have learned from the pandemic. First of all, it is important to note that women make up just under 50% of the population of this country. So anybody who wants to do business in this country cannot do business while excluding 50% of the population, the target market. So quite important. But two, youth. Uganda is a very, very young country. Close to 75% of Ugandans are under 24 years. So anything we do, we must look at harnessing that youth dividend. Like I mentioned, EFC is a relatively young organization. We're only about 10 years old in this market. So we are planning to grow with the youth, with the country. We have a lot of financial solutions that we have put in place for the youth, knowing that, for example, the level of job creation always lags the need. Okay, so it is important that the youth, even as they go through school, they are thinking about starting an enterprise. That is the easiest way they will make financial breakthroughs. That is the easiest way they will create their own jobs. And it is through financial partners, financing partners like EFC, that they can realize those dreams. And so EFC is around and available to exactly make their dreams come true. Thank you very much. Indeed, EFC is a unique operator in that our financial services comes with financial literacy training to both existing and potential customers. And the youth would be a big potential for as they prepare to start businesses, etc., or even as they run businesses. We undertake, sometimes with partners that do training, to do financial literacy training, really to harness and sharpen their skills on running their businesses better, to share with them the lessons we've learned on the people that didn't do it well and how that ended up. So, and that we are carrying all of these experiences and lessons and sharing them with especially the youth. And for the women, we actually have specialized products for women in this market. We have a product that we call Women Market Trader loans. These are specifically targeted to women in the markets, and it's not just, but when we say market is a wider thing, so shops, think about Chikubo, think about a lady who has set up a hairdressing outfit or a salon. So all of those, we have specific products for them, again, to create financial empowerment for the SMEs. That is the reason we exist.
You have a product like, say, maybe a savings account for the youth?
Oh yes, and we encourage the youth, Ugandans, to actually start saving early. Because for anyone to make a financial breakthrough, it is important that whatever you earn, you're setting aside a bit of that. And the younger, the better. If you can save at least 30% of your income, whatever income it is, it puts you in a journey for you to be able to make significant investments in the future. Which investments then you can monetize to create enterprises. You can only make significant amounts of money if you've started an enterprise and you actually have something to sell that brings in revenues for you. But to get on that train, you need to start saving.
Interesting. So the banking sector has rapidly grown in the span of 5 to 10 years. New microfinances are investors. Where do you see opportunities as EFC?
So opportunity in the banking sector, actually in the future we see a convergence between banking and fintechs, financial technology companies. Because banking, the conventional or traditional banking has been commoditized, okay? The traditional banking products you can get from anybody really. But banking used to be where people went to do something, that I'm going to the bank today to do X. Now, banks are actually coming to the customer, okay? Banking is morphing into our everyday life. Banking is coming to our mobile phones. Banking is coming to your computer, wherever it is, okay? And interesting banking decisions are going to be made seamlessly. So, and I foresee in the next 5 or so years that when you walk into, let's say, you walk into a bond to buy a car, and as you're admiring a few vehicles here and there, your bank is there knowing what you're doing on your phone, and they can begin making suggestions on how you finance the asset that you wish to acquire. And they can even give you comparisons on which asset is better at place X. So banking is going to morph into our everyday life, and it will make our financial decisioning a lot better. So thank you very much. Again, EFC is a relatively young institution. We've had a couple of milestones over the years. The big one was acquiring the MDI license in 2013. The other one was being among the fastest growing financial institutions, supervised financial institutions between 2018 and 2020. Our future is to become Uganda's largest SME bank. So in the very near future, we will actually be upgrading our license to a full banking license so that we can grow and serve many more SMEs. We are a niche player, servicing exclusively small, medium enterprises in Uganda.